the live charts and take a look at what's going on there. So let me go ahead and look at this list of questions here, and then we'll get right back over to our live video. All right, so it looks like Yvette is tackling a lot of these questions here that many of you have asked. Okay. The ranges are not, no, they are not derived from pivot points. Let's see. Okay, here's a question regarding the Euro cable. It was a chart pattern result. It was an inverse head and shoulders. There was, let's see, but because of a big volatility forecast, it hasn't come true in the close. Okay. You know, obviously everyone's going to have different ways of filtering through different patterns. When it comes to head and shoulders, now obviously you can go to the PowerStats to get an idea of what type of price movement you might see. But when it comes to head and shoulders, it's with the neckline that we're focusing on, right? So I like to find out, it's my first stop in a patterns assessment is what is the initial trend telling me about the underlying price movement, the psychology of the market. Am I dealing with a trending or non-trending environment? Head and shoulders are one of those unique patterns that you can trade in either a trending or non-trending environment. Okay, it's not a pattern like a channel that we want to focus on in trending only, or it's not like a triangle pattern that we want to focus on only in a non-trending environment. It is definitely a pattern that can apply to just about any market trend, but you want to make sure you're confirming what the underlying mood of the market is, bullish, bearish, is it uptrending, downtrending, is it moving in a sideways range before you take the trade, because that will give you an idea of the kind of acceleration that you might see through the neckline, or whether the neckline will hold and become support or resistance. So taking a pattern outside of its volatility, that's today's discussion, would be a big mistake. So understand the volatility of the market before you get in, which you can do with the PowerStats. And also, you want to be sure that you are considering the underlying market environment. Okay? Very important. Very important. Let's head on over to the MT4. I'm running a demo right now. I do run the MT4 for my personal trading. I do overlay the Autochartist chart patterns and the PowerStats. But what I do personally is I have an analysis PC where I have the websites I not only review but write for, but my charts and so forth, and I separate the actual execution on another PC. So this is actually running a demo right now of the MT4. You can see the chart patterns running and the PowerStats running on this chart. I'm going to go ahead and tile these both vertically and show you. There we go. These are the emerging patterns you're seeing on the left-hand side. Most of my personal trading is focused on patterns that are still in development, patterns that have not broken out yet. That's my focus. I want to be proactive about my patterns. But that's not really the topic of our discussion. This is what we're really focusing in on today. Now, this is the MT4 with the PowerStats overlay. Now, while the graphs, the standalone platform, are powerful, and in many ways, when it comes to chart patterns, you're going to get many more results, having the PowerStats overlaid right on the chart is just amazingly and visually, I think, helpful, because notice how they basically have lined up to offer support and resistance based not only upon the volatility of the market, but also based upon time. How long might it take to reach some of these lower levels? 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 240 minutes, the daily. Okay, now remember, this is not to suggest that over the next day we're going to go down to this support. It just simply means that the resistance up here at the top of the price action here, that's 1440 minutes, which is the daily. And down here is the range within which we could trade. This is a 15-minute chart that we're looking at right now with the 15, 30, 60, 240, and 1440-minute PowerStat forecast overlaid. Okay? Now, I believe, again, you have to ask your individual broker, but I believe that these overlays are available for all versions of the MT4, but you have to ask your individual broker. Okay? Again, take a look at the brokerage partners here. I'm overlaying it on the, this overlay right now, obviously is on the MT4. The version is from Interbank FX. Okay? As far as IG or any of the other markets, I would contact them directly. I'm sure they do. Okay? As far as contacting their customer support to find out where the downloads are or if they're already included in their custom indicators, so you can add it. Again, you have to contact your individual broker to find out where they include it. I'll give you an example here, though. When it comes to this particular version of the platform, it's actually included in the, as you can see here, in the custom indicator. So you might want to go ahead and open up your MT4 Navigator and look in the Navigator's custom indicator drop-down menu and see if maybe it's already included. Okay? And then if not, contact your broker and find out where you can get the plugin. Now, you don't necessarily need the plugin on your MT4, but what I'm here to share with you is while the standalone platform is very powerful, and again, when it comes to scanning for chart patterns, it probably is superior to scanning for chart patterns on the MT4 directly, because you're simply going to get more results. There's no possible way that every one of the results in terms of all the different chart pattern alerts can be overlaid on a chart and still have the chart be readable. So the standalone platform is still very necessary. But when it comes to the PowerStats, I prefer this view much, much more. I find that, again, it just adds that extra dimension to my analysis. So if you're looking at the Euro-US dollar today, okay, so you're looking at a daily chart, and you're noticing that, wow, you know, here we are trading in a very range-bound, very sideways market, lots of volatility. Here are the 1440-minute overlays. Now, when you get to a time frame larger than the 15, it's going to plot only that time frame's, you know, the largest time frame's results. In other words, on the daily chart, I'll get only the daily. On the 240 chart, I'll get the 240 and the daily. So it'll be whatever that time frame is and whatever the next higher up time frames overlays are. Okay? So if I go to the 1 hour, I'll get the 1 hour, the 240, and the daily overlaid on the chart. So oftentimes, I'll keep my PowerStats window on my MT4 platform on the 15-minute. That way I see all the overlays. Okay? So here's a 60-minute outlook. Here's a 30-minute. All right, and here is the 15. Now, these are my personal charts, so they do have some indicators that are individual to things that I utilize along with my Autochartist and my PowerStats. And again, this is one of my favorite views of any chart. And these are the tools that are on the chart I'll share with you right now. You can replicate this absolutely on your own. The tools that I personally use are available freely either through my personal blog, okay, or for those of you that use MT4, this is obviously an MT4 only plugin. So, the tools I'm going to share with you right now. So if you head on over to my personal blog, for those of you that are curious about the color-coded candles, those are called grab candles, green, red, and blue. And you can download the plugin for, I think, any version of MT4 from my personal blog, roggyhorner.com. Do a search for Grab 2.0, and the files will be there for you to download. Okay? What they are is simply a color-coded system that I use to gauge sentiment, momentum, and trend. So I have the 34 EMA wave, which is a trio of exponential moving averages set on the high, the low, and the close on a period of 34. So I've got a 34 period high, 34 period low, 34 period close, and they're all exponential moving averages. Those are the three moving averages that I have on this chart. Another moving average that I suggest that you overlay on your chart would be the 200 period simple and the 20 period simple. Those are two very important moving averages in terms of what the broader market will very often look at. Okay? All right, so moving from there, what I'm able to glance at in this view right away is where the current sentiment is. I can see that my candlesticks are starting to plot red. By the way, those of you that are fans of traditional Japanese candlesticks, I haven't lost the gist of those, because what I've done to represent an up and down close is I have the shade of the color-coded candles, either darker red to represent a down close, or darker or lighter red to represent an up close. So whatever the darker shade of each color is a down close. The lighter shade is an up close. So I can still utilize traditional candlestick patterns and traditional candlestick analysis, but on top of that, I've got the added bonus of a sentiment and momentum visual indicator. Okay, so what can I see? Well, I see that I've got red grab candles indicating the bearishness right now of the market. Green is bullishness, blue is neutral.